Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, February 19th. Well, the latest winter storm here in the Mid-Atlantic region is another long-duration event. The most significant precipitation, of course, fell yesterday morning with some heavy snow bands up across the southeastern part of Pennsylvania into central New Jersey. Some spots in the suburbs of Philadelphia, for example, ended up with 9-10 inches of snow in these intense snow bands yesterday morning. 4 or 5 inches fell in around the New York City metro region, and far less snow fell South Philadelphia at the Philadelphia International Airport, about 3 inches or so, and again up to 8, 9, 10 inches in some of the northern and western suburbs. South of the Mason-Dixon line, it was mostly an ice event, only coating to an inch or two of snow in and around the D.C. metro region, which has kind of been the pattern they've had this winter. More in the way of sleet and freezing rain rather than snow. There is another wave of energy passing through the eastern part of the nation at this moment now, and there will be additional snow, especially eastern Pennsylvania up across interior New Jersey and into the New York City area, all the way into the late afternoon, evening hours up across New York City, where I think they could get an additional 1 to 3 inches of snow later on today. Maybe a coating to an inch or two of additional snow accumulation in the Philadelphia metro region, and the snow is pretty much going to wind down shortly in the D.C. metro region. All three areas, D.C., Philly, New York City, started the day with freezing drizzle, but as it turns a little bit colder in the upper part of the atmosphere, it's changing to sleet and snow. Even some light snow being reported right now in the D.C. metro region, and that the changeover is occurring now across southeastern Pennsylvania and interior New Jersey. Here's the latest radar loop for the nation as a whole. Still a lot of precipitation here hanging along the eastern seaboard. Again, another kind of a long duration event that started late Wednesday night in most mid-Atlantic regions, early Thursday morning. It really came down in a hurry in some of those suburban areas of Philadelphia, for example, all the way to central New Jersey, several inches in just a several-hour period. But here on the backside here, there's a changeover now occurring to, again, some snow and sleet, D.C., some snow and sleet now mixing in across Philadelphia. That trend will continue with it probably change to all snow over the next hour or two from the D.C. metro region to Philadelphia and New York City. Now it will wind down over the next hour or two, maybe a few hours in the D.C. metro region, but it will tend to hang on as you go a little bit farther to the east and north, and that's why a little bit of concern here about 2, 3, maybe even an isolated 4-inch report coming later today, tonight, across New Jersey and into the New York City metro region, where again it will linger well into the late afternoon, perhaps even early evening hours. Here's a kind of a close-up of the Mid-Atlantic region from the College of DuPage weather website in terms of the radar. Again, still some bands going through the D.C. metro region with some snow in some areas. Last hour, Reagan National Airport actually was reporting light snow. Snow now breaking out across southeastern Pennsylvania. This precipitation up across this area will tend to fill in on the radar over the next hour or two. And again, it will tend to hang on as you get across eastern Pennsylvania and especially across the New Jersey and in the New York City metro region through the afternoon. And that's why you can certainly end up with another few inches of snow in New York City and interior New Jersey, for example, maybe even a coating to an inch or two across the southeastern part of Pennsylvania. Well, let's walk through the very latest NAM model run. This is the 12Z version, 12Z Friday version, and here's the upper air pattern here, 500 millibars. We're looking at a vorticity field from the 12Z NAM, the forecast for early this morning. And notice this hanging back. Of course, this is the eastern seaboard right here. We still have this wave of energy, albeit a stretched out wave of energy, but it's nonetheless causing some lifting motion in the upper part of the atmosphere. And you can see it just slowly moves over the next several hours to the east. We're moving along in hourly increments, and this is the forecast map for early tonight. This is 7 p.m. Still dealing with this vorticity area in the eastern seaboard area. And again, that's why I think snow could hang on for several hours across New Jersey, New York City, maybe even parts of eastern Pennsylvania. It will wind down earlier than that across the D.C. metro region. But again, we'll have to watch for a little surprise snowfall later today into early tonight in New Jersey and New York City. I guess it won't be a surprise since we're talking about it, but again, a few inches on the table. Let's keep moving forward. It finally clears out of here overnight hours, and here we are into early Saturday morning, right here Saturday morning. A cold, breezy day in the Mid-Atlantic region. Then we have another wave of energy here showing up on the map by early tomorrow, the early part of the upcoming weekend. This travels all the way across the country and could produce some snow and perhaps a combination of snow and rain in the Mid-Atlantic region during the day on Monday. Well, let's now walk through the surface forecast map, kind of honing in here on the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, tendency for the snow to hang on across eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, into New York City metro region. This is the forecast map for 8 o'clock this morning. It's already old now from the 12Z run, but let's move forward here and watch the snow in blue just kind of hang on for several hours here across eastern Pennsylvania. This is the 1 p.m. forecast map, and then it just slowly winds its way down as it moves across eastern Pennsylvania into New Jersey. And this is the forecast map for mid to late afternoon now, still hanging on. And here we go into the early evening hours, perhaps still snowing in New York City as of 7 p.m. tonight. Again, another 1 to 3 inches of snow on the table for the New York City metro region today into tonight, maybe an isolated 4-inch or so. That also goes for interior upstate New Jersey. Maybe a coating to an inch or two across southeastern Pennsylvania, east central Pennsylvania, and northeastern Pennsylvania. And finally down in D.C. metro region, any snow that's falling right now should wind down over the next couple of hours. It should be mostly precipitation free for the afternoon into the evening hours. Let's now go all the way into the forecast for the forecast map for early tomorrow morning, and here we are by Saturday morning. Notice these black lines here. They represent equal areas of pressure, isobars, and the tighter these lines, the stronger the winds. And we'll have a pretty breezy day on Saturday with partly sunny skies, cold temperatures, high temperatures doing no better than the lower middle 30s in the DC to Philadelphia to New York City corridor. So the long duration event continues, especially across eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City, well into the afternoon. And then the next system that we'll have to deal with comes Monday, could produce some accumulating snow in the Mid-Atlantic region and perhaps a combination of snow and rain. And we have other threats coming too over the next 10 to 15 days or so. So not quite done with winter yet. But that's it for now. Watch out for some slick spots for the rest of today into the early part of tonight in the I-95 corridor region. That's it. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian for PerspectiveWeather.com.